Okay, go ahead.
All right, well, come on in. This is the living room here. We got some fun stuff in here. I guess I could start with my nice lamp that I have by Nataya. Literally by Nataya. She is like a world famous lamp maker. She does these tassels and she dyes them. So we have an old house and we wanted something that was kind of retro in that way.
Right.
I'm pretty nostalgic when I decorate my place. Well, not that I decorate a lot. It's mostly my wife, but I like to keep things like this. This is a over 100-year-old accordion that my grandpa actually, he traded a horse for this Hohner. So I
That's
kind of,
cool.
I like to keep things from like my heritage. So I've got some stuff for my grandpa and my grandma and just people that have come before me that I wouldn't be here without. We're doing a little bit of Halloween decorating, so the wife got pretty fun with these little ghosts as well. Obviously, have to have some Oilers gear.
We're not doing so good, but
Hey, the season's young. I'm a little worried because I got tickets to the Heritage Classic, and McDavid's probably not going to play. So
yeah, that's such a bummer.
Everyone else is going to have to really step it up. You're probably going to like this one, actually. Do you know Scott? Do you know Scotty Van?
I don't.
So you should check out Scotty Van.
That is
Van de Sande.
fantastic.
He made this owl for us with the ring. So I proposed to my wife in Scotland, and I found a castle that had like an aviary, and they had some owls, and I lined it up so that an owl would fly the ring to her unknowingly, and that's how I
Really?
proposed. And so I wanted to like commemorate that for our anniversary, and a while back I just found Scotty on Instagram, and he's from Edmonton, and I asked him to put this piece together. I just said, like, it's a barn owl. I want it to hold a ring, but other than that, it's all kind of up to your creativity, and this is what he came up with. So
That's
I figured
awesome.
you would you guys should connect, actually, because he's kind of in that same vein as you are with
Sure, yeah.
the metal sculpting and stuff like that.
That's dope.
Yeah. Little shout out to my last job, the wind turbine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and like a bunch of Beatles stuff, Beatles books, other books from musicians. I love the music things, so
All right.
gotta have some of those. We got this moose here from Port Townsend, Washington, on our honeymoon. So yeah, that's Percival the moose. A lot of other knickknacks and books and stuff like that. Obviously, have to have a Polaroid because those are so. And my son potty training there. Maybe don't show that one, but yeah, wood burning. A friend of ours wood burned, so that was also a gift for after our wedding and anniversary and stuff. So my friend Nichelle, Lauren's friend Nichelle, wood burned that, which is pretty amazing. So, and yeah, just a lot of memories and stuff, like our dog Bear and my great grandma. She gifted me her piano that she taught herself piano on, and then I gifted that to my neighbors across the street who have kids that are taking piano lessons and stuff. But yeah, I guess
So you obviously play piano.
Yeah, you want to?
Yeah.
Any requests or what?
I don't know any pieces to just be like, oh, play the fifth. I don't know.
Well, there's like Chopin. That kind of stuff, or there's
Dang, you're good.
Ben Folds. Imagine, right?
That's one of my favorite songs.
Me too, man. Yeah, and that'll play in later in the video because I got something downstairs that applies directly to that song. So.
Okay. So you play obviously the piano. You play the accordion.
Not that one so much because that one's buttons on both sides. I'm used to the buttons on the one side.
And keys.
I have an accordion downstairs that I can play, and then keys on this side.
Yeah.
So this one, it's super old, but it sounds pretty cool. It definitely could use like a tune-up kind of thing, but like.
Okay.
But it's got like really cool designs and like yellows there,
Oh yeah.
which is pretty neat. But pretty wild that this thing is like about 100 years old. I don't know the exact date, but I know he got it back in like the 20s. So yeah, an old Honer. Anyway.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And it's good for decor too, because it's got a good look to it.
Yeah, like it kind of fits in with the motif, you know, kind of some classic looks, the old trunk and everything too. So, yeah,
That's a cool piece.
yeah, that's this artist Chuck Yu. I think he's from Portland, but I got this one because it reminded me of I can't remember if I told you or not. When I was in Panama, there was a sloth crossing the highway.
Yes,
did I
you
tell
did.
You about that? Okay,
Yeah.
so I saw this and I was like, oh my god, it's the revenge of the sloth. Like this sloth almost got crushed by the semi, and now he's the one basically taking charge of the road. So I got that from this artist Chuck Yu. I think he's out of Portland or something like that. But he does like really cool murals and really funky kind of paintings and stuff like that. So I saw that and just had to have it. So
That's great.
yeah, I think he did this one above her bed too. Yeah, that's also a Chuck Yu. But yeah, he's got I don't know, cool style. I think
Yeah, it is.
the ginger listening to music with the jackalope up top and the two dogs and stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's great.
yeah.
Great piece.
Have you seen that place, iMazy? Have you seen those things?
No.
So they take a super close-up photo of your iris. So this is my eye and this is Lauren's eye, and then you can like select, how big you want to print them and stuff. But I thought it was so fascinating.
That is cool. Actually, you know what? I think Ashley saw them at some event somewhere.
Yeah, they have a booth.
Yeah.
usually at different events and stuff. But they have a
I
place
wasn't
in
there,
Idaho.
so I never saw it.
You should try it out. It's pretty cool. I don't know. I've always been fascinated with the eye and
Yeah.
seeing it up close like that. Just kind of.
I got some holes in my eyes now because I had this eye surgery from my glaucoma,
No way.
and so I just needed because I have narrow angles.
Okay.
So they lasered a hole in there. I wonder if it would show up on something like this.
Probably would. I don't know what it would look like, but
'Cause,
it's
like,
scars.
There are like random
Yeah.
artifacts, right?
Yeah,
in there, like what is that?
I don't know. Yeah, freckle or something maybe. Can you
Yeah.
get freckles on your iris?
Wait, did you say
I
this
don't
is your wife's?
Yeah, that's Lauren's.
Right, and she's a ginger, so maybe it is a freckle.
Probably is. Yeah.
Right?
She's got freckles everywhere, including her eyes, I guess.
I mean, you're kind of gingery too, so
A little bit. I got some reddish.
there's no freckles in your eye.
Not that one. I think the other one, who knows, might have. But yeah. That's cool.
Cool.
Yeah, man. The old dining room here.
This is where we just were with another painting.
The donors. Yeah, this is Igor Postash. The first time I went to the White Ave Art Walk was 2011, and I came across Igor's booth or tent, and it just like blew me away. I love the Beatles, and I saw this, and I just bought this house, and I was like, okay, I need artwork for the walls, and I just have to have this. And then I ran into him again for the first time when I was selling my artwork at the Bonnie Doon Art Walk.
Yeah.
And he was also there. And I went up to him. I'm like, I don't know if you remember me or not, but I bought this Beatles piece that you had, and I loaded it up into my white 97 Lincoln Town Car. And he was like, I totally remember you. Like, you were my first, like, real sale, big sale.
Oh,
He was
nice.
selling prints and stuff like that, but he hadn't sold an original of this size before. And I was the first one, and so he he gave me a big hug, and like I was just so happy to actually see him again because I didn't know if I'd ever see him again, just with the way the world works. But
Sure.
I love it with the lyrics to multiple Beatles songs, and John here's got the accordion, so
Right.
that one kind of spoke to me because I have an accordion kind of similar to this one as well. So,
Sure.
but yeah, love the Beatles and had to get that one. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
I noticed when we were eating, you got. I love things like this. They're like just subtle little embellishments or details that you
Yeah.
put around. For those of you who are Friends fans,
Yeah.
you'll totally recognize this from Monica and Rachel's apartment.
yeah, of course.
I love that. I would
Yeah,
totally
Lord.
put that in my shop as well.
Oh, okay, good.
I love putting little details. I have the poster of those silent movie comedians. What are their names?
Like Buster Keaton and like Charlie Chaplin and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Or what do you mean?
it's of that era, but in Joey and Chandler's apartment,
Oh yeah,
they have. Is it Laurel and Hardy?
I don't think
It's
maybe
it's
I can't
it's
remember exactly.
it's a pair anyway.
Yeah.
I have that poster, and I had it in my old shop. I don't have it in my current shop because there wasn't room for it. But I don't know. I think it's fun to have that. I had some stuff from The Big Bang Theory. Like I just had this kind of up there. Stuff from The Office.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
different things like that.
Can't go wrong with that. Yeah, I love your shop too. It's.
Oh, thank you.
I love places where everywhere you look, there's something. You know, there's a story behind it, or it's from
Yeah.
a show you like, or whatever it may be. Right. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can see the baby room. I don't know if you wanna put any of this in there. I mean, it's a baby room. You've got a sloth as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the theme of your guys'.
I mean, like after seeing that sloth on the highway, I was a fan. You know?
Yeah?
I liked sloths before, but you know, they won me over when I saw them that day. So had to get them a sloth, and yeah, I mean, we got yeah, yeah, that was from my brother. Speaking of The Office, yeah.
It is a baby.
Yeah.
It is your birthday.
Exactly.
Oh, you got some. You got some.
Oh yeah, Jeffrey Decker. Yeah, that's right. He was one of my faves. I believe he's known as the Upper Decker now. He's doing mostly potty work.
Yeah.
But yeah, the pood touching out, reaching out to the toilet paper. You know, David meets God or whatever it is. Like
Creation of Adam, I believe.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Obviously, Sistine Chapel. Yeah, I should probably brush up on my 16th century artists.
You're gonna be painting?
Yeah, those have been up for probably a good year, so
So maybe not. White's good.
We like to just think about doing things a lot of the time, but not necessarily actually doing them. But you know, just thinking about them is enough sometimes.
Sure.
So, yeah. Yeah. I mean, got some. You know, we had some dogs before, and this is. Gus is our dog now, but Bear and Benny were our two dogs that we had before him. And there's another Jeffrey Decker. The Banana Brothers here.
Yeah, I got that one as well.
Oh yeah, that's what you're saying. Yeah. This is actually the same person who did the wood burnt owl thing above the piano. So she's quite creative as well. She painted our pooches there, and yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's, I don't know, pretty much it.
This is the you even got some art in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Not everyone does that.
Totally my jam. Those are, you know, that's what I'm kind of known as. So Lauren had to get that one.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then just a collection of just some of the. We would stop at distilleries or cideries or breweries on our honeymoon. So these are a little collection from that. Most of them. Some of them are just, you know. Lauren went to Thailand, or my buddy John gifted me an AGD for my birthday, which I gave back to him for Christmas, which he gave back to me for my birthday again, I think, or something. So just handing that back and forth. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the main floor. We can head downstairs if you want.
Sure, into the studio.
Into the studio.
You got a nice house.
Thanks, dude. It's a work in progress, but you know what house isn't?
Oh, yeah. You haven't been in my house, but it is definitely a work in progress. Very slow work in progress.
Yeah, it always is.
I love this piece.
I put this one out because I knew you loved it, and it's also these are the only two pieces that I actually have in my house right now. So,
is this the 6-year piece?
This is the 6-year piece. Yeah. So when I played Imagine, this is why, because this is the one that really kicked it off. So I just thought I could show you. You know, kind of compare how my style has changed from, you know, I started this one back in 2007 or 2008 or something like that. And that's the one that took 6 years. And, yeah, I'm not going to sell it because it's just, you know.
No, that's a part of your,
yeah.
your, as I always say, your ness.
Yeah.
It's part of your ness.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, that was the one that kicked it all off. I'm pretty sure every single bottle cap on there was saved when I was bartending.
Oh yeah,
every last one of them. a lot of these ones were too, but like, yeah, this one for sure was just all the caps that I saved while I was bartending.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your technique in this one, this is when you were, you know, cutting your teeth, right? Figuring out how to affix everything and how to place them. Because I know on the shop talk, you were talking about how you place them a little more methodically now.
Yeah.
Like you're more careful with how they're placed.
Yes.
Whereas I guess at first you didn't know.
I didn't know. You can kind of see where I sort of figured that out. Like before, I will never layer them like a whole one on top. There, every single one will kind of be tucked into 2 or 3 that come before it.
Like a scale sort of idea.
Yeah, exactly. So here, like a lot of them are they almost curl up like a Pringles chip or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. It does still have a cool look, I guess, but I prefer it to be more
still works
methodical and neat, such as this one over here. But yeah, you can see where these ones, they're coming down, you know, this way, and then these ones are coming up this way. So the light sort of bounces off. I even experimented, like I stole my mom's nail polish because I was like, oh, I don't know if these are going to be red enough. So I put a little bit of like clear red over top of these buds. And then I was like, I should just not modify them at all. I shouldn't paint them or anything because they're already cool colors. So I'll just trust the colors will pop the way they should.
Sure.
So, you know,
and yeah, because like people will forgive something that's not, I don't know if perfect would be the right word, but they'll forgive it based off of like the material you use or the method you use, different things like that. And I think having, not that it looks bad, I wouldn't have even known that it was nail polish, but I think it already works. So I think it's good to not if you chose not to.
Yeah,
it's fine that you did. But like here, you didn't modify anything except for cutting where you needed to cut.
Yeah, just cutting where I needed. That was basically it. So all the caps are their original colors, and the way they are layered is much more methodical. And the eye, you know, when you're looking at John's eyes, he almost looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger with the laser eyes or something.
Oh,
like
the
that.
red
so
there.
But I put London Pride in there because, you know, it's a British cap, and, and he's you know, British, right? So I thought that was kind of cool. But nowadays, like I try and get that glimmer in the eye, I try and get color. I really try and focus on
with the white,
some more lifelike features of eyes, because it's mostly about the eyes. You know, you can kind of mess up some other features and get away with it.
Yeah. Standing back, of course, obviously it's easier to see the whole picture as you stand back. Having that little speck of white, it really brings it alive. And maybe with the red, I can see what you mean. It's just kind of like too bloodshot. I mean, he did partake, you know. So I mean,
let's just say he was blood. Yeah, he had bloodshot eyes for some reason. Yeah.
Exactly. They both look great. Honestly, but this one does, and I'm not saying just because I'm a big fan of Nirvana, but this one does look better. It has a more refined touch to it. Yeah. Whereas this one, it looks fantastic. This would be better than what I would do. I'm almost certain. But it's just not as good.
A good friend of mine told me when he looks at this first one and then he looks at the stuff that I do today, it's almost like standard definition, and now I'm like, you know, high definition or whatever. What is it now? Like it's not even.
Well,
HD.
it's like 8K now.
8K, yeah. So I don't know if I'm at 8K, but you know, SD to HD, and I kind of like that because this one's you're just a little more fuzzy, you know, and this one's a little bit more crisp and clean.
Yeah, the detail comes through a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
They both look great. Having this one on the wall, no one's gonna be like, that's dumb, you know. Like,
someone out there will.
Someone who doesn't have a taste in art might do that.
Yeah.
Someone who hangs posters on the wall.
Yeah.
You know.
Essentially. Yeah. Whatever.
Not that there's anything wrong with holding posters.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, but there, you know who I'm talking about.
I do. Anyway, I'll show you the studio as well. This is kind of where all the magic actually happens, like the creation. Well, the flattening and everything happens here. This is the press. that
Okay.
I had, well, my dad and his machinist friend basically kind of came up with this, and instead of me just using the mallet over and over and trying to
Okay.
smash them down, so I can show you how that works. And then this is just my workbench on wheels, where sometimes, you know, I like to switch it up, and I'll usually put the piece on top of the workbench and just put it against the wall, or use a couple easels when I'm working on a piece. But when I have a bunch of caps flattened and I need to sort, I just kind of pull everything out and just throw on the headphones and just sort away, basically, so you can kind of
Sure.
get an idea of all the colors that I'm working with here.
Just hundreds of caps.
Oh, thousands for sure. Yeah, I don't know how many would be right here. If I had to guess, probably like, I don't know, 30,000 caps in just this area. It adds up fast.
Golly.
Like, it's kind of
Dang.
it's,
Right. Well, they are small. Like, so if
yeah,
you go like
and
this,
flattened, yeah.
like I'm holding a lot.
Like that's probably 100 in a handful or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
Something like that.
Yeah. And you sort them not just by color but by brand too?
Yeah, sometimes. Like when I have a lot of, so like this is my sort of random whites. And so
Okay.
I do have some of these Canadians in there, but, you know, because they have the maple leaf on them, they sort of have a different look. Like I'll
Oh,
they
sure.
kind of get a little darker than something like this. Like a
Sure.
Swedish
Yeah,
Rose,
yeah, yeah.
or, you know, even this is, you know, a little bit more beige than it is white. So if I know I have a lot of one cap, then I will separate them out. But I like
Okay.
to mix them all, just because that random look within the piece is appealing more so than just having an entire
Right.
section of Canadian or an entire section of Labatt blue or something like
Okay.
that. Right?
So you have like obviously the bins, then you got some in bags. Are some of the ones that are in bags, or have these been sorted like a long time ago? Have you like changed your process here?
I'm kind of changing as I go a bit, but the bag ones. So I have a ton of red. Like a lot of people drink Budweiser.
Yeah.
So I have a ton of red. When I come across cool ones, like, you know, this Lagunitas that has the dog on it, like that's kind of cool. So I
Yeah.
like to save those for.
Oh, so you got
So
special reds.
These are like the special reds. Like this, there's Machu Picchu is on this cap right here.
Oh,
so
yeah.
if I have a client that I get to know and they have this affinity for Peru or something, I'll keep that in mind and I know it's in there.
Okay.
And, this is actually one of the caps that we shared.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, so
On the first shop talk that
on
we
the
did.
First shop talk, yeah, exactly. So I'll have like little bags for unique caps. So these are a bunch of unique types of blues because I have so many Bud Light,
Right.
Labatt Light, and OV and stuff like that. So
Okay.
I'm probably gonna refine it so that I just have containers on a wall so that I can just pull them out.
Right.
Kind of like a wall of, you know, a lot of people
Yeah, yeah,
have like,
yeah.
different types of screws and nails and
Of
hardware.
course.
So I want to do that eventually, but you know,
Yeah.
one thing at a time.
That would be cool because yeah, you could do like a shallow shelf or something that you could fit right in here.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
and you could pull it out if you wanted to,
Yeah.
or just pull the drawer, like use
Nice,
it like a drawer.
color coded,
Yeah.
see-through containers so that, you know, I can
Yeah.
see through them. And
Would you
stuff.
do like you know, like you'd label?
Yeah,
by putting on a-
Yeah, I think so. I would probably put one on the edge, and that's what I used to. Well, I'll show you. This is the. Some of them are flattened, but a lot of them are unflattened. And
Sure.
just ready
This
to
is the
go.
overflow.
Yeah, so as you can see, like I have some that are just like randomly. In
Oh,
here.
everything here is a cap.
Yeah, except for these corks here, but like
Okay.
all of these boxes are caps, and then these kind of show.
Oh
what's
yes.
in there.
Okay. Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
sometimes they're like I used to sort them before flattening them, but it kind of I don't know. It was just trickier to sort them when they're unflattened. So
Okay.
this is from days of old, but yeah, those are like kind of the overflow of like the flattened ones that come in larger quantities, the reds and the silvers and a lot of Corona and stuff like that too. So
Okay. I noticed that there's absolutely no liquor smell, so it doesn't.
no.
Like some people, I imagine might suspect that it would
A
stink,
lot of
but
people wonder if it smells
like-
like a bottle of
yeah.
alcohol. Yeah.
which it does not at all.
If I if I can, I will wash them if they look like they've,
Sure.
you know, they got some,
Yeah.
you know.
And how do you do that? In the dishwasher?
Just out
Sink?
in the sink if it's wintertime, or outside in the summer.
Oh.
I'll just lay them on a piece of fabric, and I'll put them in a bucket and like really rinse them out really good, and then let them dry just on some landscaping fabric outside in
Sure.
the sun. It seems to do the trick. But yeah,
All
no
right.
smell, which is kind of nice. Yeah.
Do you mind showing that piece there?
This one over here.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
that a work in progress or a finished piece?
It's one that I did, and we had it hanging, but then so it's my dog Bear. I just wanted to, I hadn't.
Oh,
made
that's
I
fantastic.
hadn't made a dog piece at the time, and so this was experimental.
I like it.
And we did have it hanging up at one point, but we've just been kind of rearranging and redecorating and stuff. So I put it back there just for safety for now.
Yeah.
I also used it as a test to spray some archival varnish, 2 different types.
Okay.
So I think this side is more matte, and then this side is more glossy,
Okay.
just to see how it would affect the bottle caps before, you know, actually putting it on clients' pieces.
Are you finding that you need to do a finish?
I do for safety when it comes to clients, especially in like humid locations. Like if I have a client in Florida or California or something like that, then I will offer it. It's just an extra level of protection. But I mean, the John Lennon piece is, I guess, like 16 years old now, and it doesn't have any protection on it at all, and it's held up pretty good.
Doesn't look like any fading or anything in there?
Maybe a tiny bit, but like it's held up pretty good. So I think if I do, when I talk to the clients, if they know it's going to be hanging in like a sunny location or humid, I'll offer that just as an extra, just to be a little bit safer.
People may not understand that like your pieces they can be considered investments. They're quite valuable. And to have something like fade away would be such a bummer. So yeah, to put the varnish on there probably is a good idea, because to spend $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 on something, and then you're just like, wait, didn't this used to? I feel like this used to be
orange.
right. Like
yeah, that could be bad news. Yeah, I wouldn't want that to happen.
Yeah.
Better to burn out than to fade away, I guess. Right?
Sure. Yeah, no, it looks good. I like this piece.
Yeah, we'll probably hang it up again.
It almost looks like advertising of something. I don't know of what, but it looks like some sort of advertisement.
Maybe if I don't if we don't have the space to hang it up in the house, I'll auction it off for a rescue, like a dog rescue or something.
Yeah,
like
it
that.
looks
Maybe
awesome.
I
I do like it.
Yeah, that's Bear. Our Bear. And then I do have some corks, but all the corks right now are stored in the garage. And I do have actually more bottle caps in the garage, believe it or not.
Yeah?
Probably like this times 2 in the garage as well. So it is
Dang, you got lots.
Ridiculous. Yeah, I need to just start making like tons more art
or something.
Do the Andy Warhol route and like hire people to make it, just come up with the design and like teach them how to do it or something maybe. I don't know.
Would you actually do that as a... There's a lot of people who are against that because they're like, the artist should create the art, right?
Yeah.
Like there's artists out there, like you say, Andy Warhol. Today there's Damien Hirst, who doesn't create almost anything, and everything he does seems to be, and all the stuff created by other people is really high quality.
Yeah.
And so people are like, it's a how would you say that? There's a love-hate sort of thing when it comes to artists like that. Myself, I think that there's a place for assistants, and then there's a place for the artist to do the art.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you think of it in those terms, it's kind of where art meets business, and business sort of takes over. So if you don't really mind being a business person who created art in the first place, then go for it, because I think there's just like a ton of potential there. And in my case specifically, there is a ridiculous amount of bottle caps that are produced and just thrown away everywhere. Like if we were just to save the bottle caps from just our city of 1 million people in a year, like it would blow your mind how, like, one of these, I talked to a bartender recently, and she works at this bar on the south side, just not even like a crazy busy bar, just a standard sized bar.
And she gave me a couple of these after like over the summer, and I'm like, this is, 10 gallons of bottle caps.
And they
just
probably
in one
threw a
bottle.
bunch out
And
too.
they probably threw a bunch out before too. So like the amount of material that there is to work with, I could see myself, if I was potentially a better businessman, entrepreneur, set it up where you make relationships in different cities all over and set up artists in each city, and they can collect caps
Sure.
from all the bars from their city.
Yeah,
And just turn it into a network like that.
Sure.
Because the artwork does look cool, and people.
It does.
I could teach people how to do it. So
you don't
I thought about
necessarily
it.
own the idea. I mean,
No, anyone can do it.
there's
I'm not
very-
stopping anyone
right.
from trying bottle cap.
I'm probably correct in saying that there's few bottle cap artists,
Yeah.
but it's not like you're the well, to me you're the bottle cap artist, because I don't know, but like, again, I'm a finger painter, but there are other finger painters, and there's probably other better finger painters than me, and I don't care at all. I think it's cool when someone's like, "Oh, another finger painter," and they're
Yeah.
talking about me, and I'm like, "No, you're the other finger
the other-
painter." But yeah, I mean, people will let us know in the comments what they think about that. I don't know if you'd call it a method of creating art. To me, there could be the jam umbrella, and that's you. And then under the umbrella, you have your assistants or your artists or or just your friends, whatever, however you want to label them. And you've created would you say a path for people to succeed in an artistic venture?
Yeah, I mean,
Because it is cool as heck.
thank you. Yeah, and I mean, someone always has to be the first to try something, and then if someone, it's like, what was it, the 4-minute mile or something, like it couldn't be broken forever.
Right.
And then who was it like Prefontaine or something like that? I don't know. I'm not the best.
Someone
with this.
famous who I don't know.
Someone famous broke the 4-minute barrier, and then suddenly like everyone can
It's
do it.
very common.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it happens all the time with things. Like it needs to be proven that something can be done, and then people will just start to do it. And so I think this could be one of those potentials where it's like, okay, maybe I was, and I don't even know if I was, and I know I wasn't the first bottle cap artist, but I've created my own style, and I could definitely like teach people how to reproduce that or whatever under this umbrella or something like that. But
Yeah, I don't
I
think
think there's a lot of potential there.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. It's because you're still like something's still being created.
Yeah.
And yeah, like me making cutting boards and stuff, I have people helping me all the time. People like that they can buy something from me because they like me, but also I can't make everything all the time because I'm one person, and so
I know.
same thing goes for art. Like it
Yeah.
looks awesome. It is not a mass produced sort of thing, even if you have a bunch of people doing it, because it's still like no machine is making it.
No.
I mean, you use machines to make it in a sense. You use tools, yeah.
Tools and I guess a machine, yeah. to flatten and stuff.
But it still crafts people,
Yeah.
if you want to call it. It's still artists
True, yeah,
creating it.
Definitely a craft. Yeah.
It's not like although I don't know how places like HomeSense and Walmart and places like that have their art. I mean, I'm sure someone has to make it,
that works, yeah.
but you're not that, and you wouldn't become that. I'm sure.
It would have to be a huge volume to be able to, appease those types of contracts. Like if you were to sell in a place like IKEA or HomeSense. Or something
Can you
like that.
imagine like just getting something like that? Oh, it's $35. Like it just.
If I could get it down to that price, like with just time and materials. I mean, the material is pretty cheap. Bottle caps are free essentially, so that one isn't a problem. But yeah, just the
But
time.
crushing them all,
Yeah, yeah.
cleaning them all if they need to be cleaned, all the whole process. What would
Yeah.
you say the process is just getting to this point, this pail of or container of lids? How long is that?
Just getting to that. I mean, making the connections. Well, I used to just collect them myself as a bartender. So now I'm not bartending. So just keeping and maintaining those connections at bars with bartenders, who are willing to save them and then give me a ring when the bucket is full, going to get them, enjoying a beer while I'm there, just to kind of like, keep that connection there.
Yeah.
Bringing them back, cleaning them either in the sink or outside, letting them dry in the sun or just on a rack or on a towel on the floor or something, and then going to flatten them. When I'm clipping along, I think I did the math and I can flatten like 1,500 bottle caps an hour with that machine.
Dang. Okay.
So yeah, not bad there. And then sorting them. I should probably time myself just to see how fast I can actually sort into a bunch of different colors. But like, yeah, we're talking like, right there, like at least, tens or hundreds of hours to get to a point where I've flattened enough caps to make one piece. Like if one piece usually takes like 3,000 or 4,000 bottle caps, right there, just flattening, that would be like 2 or 3 hours kind of thing, just flattening, and then sorting probably about the same. So right there, you're talking like 5-6 hours to flatten and sort.
Right.
The drying and collecting and process and all that stuff is another couple hours. And then when I'm designing, the design usually takes like a good day. I'll take the photograph and do my thing. So we're looking, even before the first cap is being put in, like a good 10 hours of work just to like prep everything.
Yeah.
So I can't just go to the store and buy paint, I have to process it in a way to get it ready to be assembled, right? So
right. And when you're doing this part, like you're not making any money yet.
No.
You're just
I know. It seems crazy when you put it that way, but
like no one's paying you to spend all that time, and if no one happens to like a piece, like right here, you got an Alice Cooper coming up. I'm assuming that's a commission.
It is, yeah.
But let's say that's just a piece that you felt like making. If no one likes Alice Cooper anymore, then you just wasted 6 hours to sort all those 6 hours of flattening all this stuff, and then once you're putting the first one on there, it don't even matter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Kurt Cobain, that wasn't a commission. And that one's still for sale too. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy that. Okay. I think okay. I can't afford it right now, honestly.
I do payment plans.
But I need it. My brother also big fan.
Maybe this is why it hasn't sold yet, because it knows it's supposed to go to you.
I think that must be it.
That's probably
Me and my brother have this show called Just Joshing with Chakota.
Yes.
It's meant to be a talk show, sort of thing, and our set studio thing doesn't exist.
Okay.
So when it does, I think we're gonna make space
for that.
Okay. And it won't necessarily be on camera, but it's gonna be there, and it's gonna be dope.
Right.
Because the space Anyway, I really want it. So
Okay.
I wanted it since I saw it. So and that would have been at the White Avenue Art Walk, I believe.
I think was that.
Oh no! It would have been at the Bonnie Doon Art Walk.
Yeah, I brought it to Bonnie Doon. Yeah, that was the first time it was ever shown. In person to anybody. So that was the first time you saw it.
Yeah,
and it hasn't sold, and it's probably my most popular one on social media.
Is it?
Anytime I share anything about it, it just like goes crazy, and people love it. And I've had a couple bites, but no real. It's probably your energy that you're putting out there. It's locking everyone.
Yeah, just F off everybody. That's mine.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so walk me through, if you don't mind. I see you got your tool rack here.
Yes. There and there. Yeah, a little bit.
For some reason, you went with Ryobi. I don't know why, but
well, they're cheap, and I'm not like a heavy duty kind of guy. If I was building like a lot of stuff with woodworking and all that stuff, I would probably go with like DeWalt or something.
DeWalt or Milwaukee or something.
Probably, but like I'm literally just like sometimes screwing in mounts on the back of a piece.
Sure. So, you just need an electric screwdriver.
Yeah, exactly. It's I'm not fancy, so I do have, what is this here? I don't even remember.
Porter Cable.
Porter Cable, yeah. Okay. That's reputable, right?
It used to be
That's my compressor.
Yeah.
It used to be.
I mean,
it was when I bought it.
It depends on who you talk to, but to me, it don't matter. If it works, it works, and that's good enough.
It's never given me any issues, and it's always inside. I even have a little filter for it, which I'm pretty sure I don't even need because I'm just purely using this indoors, and there's not sawdust everywhere and stuff. So like, it's pretty much clean as a whistle. But yeah, so I'll connect this bad boy over here. To do that, it would be murder. Like, I just can't believe anyone would ever tell me to do something like that. So that's that story. Anyway.
Just a classic joke.
Right. That joke. Well, yeah. Well, why don't I show you like how I flatten them first? I'll grab a little handful of some of these unflattened ones, and I can kind of show you just the one little brief process.
Okay. And I just have to, I know there's going to be some people in the comments being like, but what did he say? I didn't get it. Even though
reads lips.
even though I said that was a joke, no one,
I didn't say it.
no one could hear that even if you were saying anything. You were making some noise here and there.
A little bit, but it was all for show.
That was fantastic, dude.
Thank you. Thanks.
Good thing I got Steadicam on here.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, this is pretty much how I'll set it up. I'll usually flatten like 8 or 10 at a time. I'll just spin this guy around, put 8 or 10 more kind of thing. I'll just do a couple here. And then yeah, I just have a little switch over here. And then the foot pedal controls the plate to go up and down. I usually don't have it up that high to start with, but yeah, nice and flat. And then I'll show you.
Oh yeah.
That's how flat they come out. And I usually go the other way, but I'll show you here. And that's as quick. So that's, there's 16 caps there, and I'll just scrape them off. So it's pretty, like, I'll put the headphones on and just listen to music or a podcast or an audiobook. And
What music are you listening to? The Beatles? I see like you got even more Beatles down here.
I got this. Yeah, I got this Beatles. I have like a decent amount of posters that are in storage right now, which once I get a better, bigger studio up and running, then I'll probably put a lot more of my music posters up. But did you see the Led Zeppelin signed by everyone but the drummer on a drum set? So Bonham obviously was missing because he was not alive anymore when they signed that, but. Yeah.
It would be sick if it was one of his drum skins.
Yeah.
Then it wouldn't matter.
And then it would be like that is his signature.
Right.
It's like the
all the dings in it and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, it's a fresh one. But yeah, no, definitely love.
I recognize these.
Yeah, I sorted them out into different sizes, and I'm gonna experiment with how to sign my signature on there and potentially work them into the pieces as my signature. So. Yeah, once I flatten, then just sorting them, I'll usually just plunk myself down over in front of the pile there and sort away, and it's legit just like chill time. Oh, hey.
Dude, can't lose that. You might run out.
Right? Yeah, especially Budweiser. Yeah. So yeah, I just kind of like sit down and I'll take like a good 20, 30 at a time and just sort away like that. And well, this would be in a different spot here, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll do this for like a few hours at a time and just kind of kill time, just sort away.
Listen to wait, did you say what tunes you're listening to?
It depends. I usually I'm gonna listen to a bunch of Alice Cooper because I haven't really like dove into his earlier work or
everyone knows just one song.
Everyone, I mean, like I know a handful, like The School's Out for the Sun.
Everyone knows that, right?
18. There's a handful of other ones that were like kind of hits on the radio and stuff like that. But yeah, I haven't really gone into his earlier work, which he's been around since like I just watched that documentary Revival 69. Have you heard about that one? It's all about John Lennon being like playing. It's basically the show that made him decide to leave the Beatles. Like he was already on the fence, and then he got approached to do this festival where the Doors were headlining,
Okay.
Alice Cooper was playing. He was very young at the time, and there was like Jerry Lee Lewis and all these old rock and roll like from the 50s. So like it was the hippie movement, and they were kind of over the rock and roll scene, but they were still legends and like living legends in a lot of ways. Chuck Berry, right? And so this festival was put on, and as I said, Alice Cooper was playing, and they were trying to get John Lennon, and it came down to like the last minute. John Lennon just called up Eric Clapton and I can't remember, like this crazy bass player and a drummer, and like was basically like, do you guys want to play this music festival in Toronto? And they're like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And they're like, okay, let's go. And they legit like were practicing on the plane. They just got the farthest seats back on this plane, and they're playing, you know, okay, what should we play? Oh yeah, let's play this song, let's play that song. And that was like the festival that, Yoko Ono wrapped herself in this bag on stage and was singing all these weird sounds into the mic, and it was crazy. So seeing Alice Cooper there at that time, like they were like a really crazy band back then. So I'll be listening into kind of the late 60s, early 70s Alice Cooper now for a while.
You do a lot of musicians, hey?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of, I come from a musical background.
Would you say that's your jam?
One of them. Yeah. That's kind of why I liked Jam Bottle Cap Art, because like I'm making musicians and it's a big jam, and those are my initials, and it was just a bit of synchronicity there. So
when it comes to my real question, like that was dumb.
I mean, I just kind of rambled for a while about some of the music I like, but
so for me, I like music too. Everyone, if you don't like music, you're lying. Everyone likes music.
Everyone likes some kind of music.
Right? Like, I don't think you would ever meet someone who legitimately doesn't like any music. That doesn't make any sense to me. But for me, I like music, but I'm not really into music. When I choose a musician, if I'm not a fan of their music, that's okay, because I might still be a fan of them and like what they've achieved in terms of like, like I'm a fan of greatness, and you don't necessarily have to have 100 amazing songs for me to like you. Like, for example, I like Queen, but like I like Fat Bottom Girls, and that's my favorite song.
I love that song.
Right? It's great. I listened to that like, I don't know, 100 times as a kid on
She was such a naughty.
Yeah. I used to go on road trips with my older brother Dave. He was a trucker.
Oh yeah.
And so we would listen to that like 100 times
a
trip.
Great, like trucker song.
Yeah.
Like I could just see a trucker cranking that.
So, and I would listen to other songs, mostly the hits.
Sure.
But like, I'm not a huge fan of Queen. I am a fan.
Yeah.
But I've painted Freddie Mercury 3 times.
Yeah.
Because I like what he's done for music, for like general culture and all that. He's just a great human being.
Great subject.
And so I painted him, even though that might be a bad example, because I actually really love the songs that I like.
Yeah.
But, for example, I might not paint someone just because I'm a big fan of them. I might paint them because they're an amazing person, like Einstein, for example.
Yeah.
I don't know if he played any music. Probably he did, because he's a genius.
Yeah, he must have.
But
he must have at least enjoyed music. I would think.
I believe he did.
I'd like to know what his favorite album was.
I think he really. I'm gonna totally get this wrong. I heard something about him really liking. Was it Mozart?
Okay. I could see that.
I feel like I used his favorite symphony in one of my videos.
Oh, yeah?
When I was painting him, or I was going to.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly now. But anyway, do you have sort of the same thing where you will paint someone because of more than just being a fan of what they do? But
no, absolutely. I think it's like a cool way to commemorate someone who has had an impact on the world, in various ways. Like you mentioned, Freddie Mercury, like he wasn't just like an amazing singer and songwriter and stuff. Like he you know, he was kind of like a big part of like, you know, gay rights and
Mhm.
like the AIDS epidemic and all that kind of stuff too. So, and it really, like, it doesn't matter. Like, these are just amazing people a lot of the times. You know, I've done a few Einstein pieces myself. Like, that guy changed the world, and anytime you have a human on Earth that can change the world in such an amazing way, like, why not celebrate them?
Mhm.
You know, they may have had some skeletons in their closet. Like, I got in a little bit of flack. Some people online will just be like, John Lennon was a womanizer. And I'm like, yeah, but like, he sang about ending war and peace and love, and he was a cool songwriter. And yeah, like,
Then people are like,
maybe he
yeah, you
wasn't
wanna
the
be a
best
socialist?
person all the time, but like, I don't know. He affected my life in a very positive way, and so it's kind of my way of commemorating him,
Yeah,
right?
you're gonna draw the line somewhere too.
Yeah.
You're not like, oh, let's do Hitler next. He was such a great dude because he has a road that has no speed limit. What an amazing guy.
Oh,
Yeah. We got the VW because of him.
Yeah.
Everyone does
I don't
good
know.
shit and bad shit,
Yeah.
but there is a very obvious line that reasonable people are going to choose not to cross when
Yeah.
it comes to
I think so.
what was not memorializing? What is it called? Commemorating.
Yeah.
Whatever the word is.
Yeah.
And I think it's reasonable to paint or create mosaics of people who have done things
Yeah.
that, you know, can be viewed by a reasonable person as generous to a community or a culture or whatever, what have you.
Exactly.
Um,
And music being like a big part of my life, I just think, you know, it just fits in with my loves of my life. Just like art, music, it just works together.
Mhm.
And if I can create something cool that other people really like to enjoy as well, and it brings them, you know, memories. Like, there's, you know, I really like just the depth that you can get with art in general.
Mhm.
You know, people will see the same piece and have very different emotions or memories from it. So if you can do that and affect people in a really cool way, like, I don't know, I think that's a really cool thing. So
Agreed.
Yeah.
Is there anything else in your process once you've come to here? Is there like some sort of weird, like, oh, and then I also kiss each one or something?
No, I definitely don't put them in my mouth or near it. I mean, I could, if you want, I could show you kind of a little bit of how I would actually like
Oh,
put
sure.
it together.
Yeah,
I haven't started this one yet, but if you give me a minute, I can maybe just get it set up, and then I can kind of show you just how I would.
That would be fantastic. I would love. I'll let you get ready. I'll talk to the camera here while you're getting ready. I would love to create one of these types of murals or mosaics. You have well, maybe it's intentional. I don't know. You've unintentionally inspired me to try a new medium.
Oh.
It's definitely not going to become something that I do regularly because the discipline it takes to do this sort of thing requires patience. And if you watch my channel at all, I don't have a lot of patience. But to create one every once in a while would be super cool.
You should, man.
So I think it would be awesome if you're down
Yeah.
to teach me one day. I'll try to gather my own bottle caps so I'm not wasting your inventory here.
I got more than enough to share, so I got you there, man. I got you there.
I'll try to gather one or two of my own, just
Sure,
because I appreciate the amount of work that goes into getting to this stage, right? Like just having, you said 30,000 caps here. That's a lot.
Approximately, like that's a ballpark, but yeah, like if you had 100 in your hand right here, times 300, yeah, that would probably be about 30,000. So something like that. Maybe a couple 100,000 more over there. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll try to. I think it'll be a fun learning experience. Like I'll have the benefit of you, where you had the benefit of time
Yeah.
and frustration.
Yeah. Those were all the
Perseverance.
benefits. Yeah.
I'll have the benefit of you showing me kind of like how it goes, and of course you're going to show everyone here in a second as well.
Is this live?
Or-
No.
Oh, okay.
I just haven't pressed stop yet.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting
If
it to
you
go
want
this way.
to, then you can. But if you
Oh yeah, of course.
almost ready here, so
Oh,
when I start, I can show you a bit. Like I can show you the design that I come up with, and then I use that as a reference when I'm laying it out. And I essentially like start out with like I create my own paint by numbers pretty much, and I use that as a guideline. I won't necessarily like exactly follow these lines. I'll use that as a, like I say, a guideline,
Yeah.
and then kind of blend them in as I go. And then I use certain features where I know like they should be sort of overlapped on top, like the nose will come out and over top of the caps that lead up to the nose.
right.
And obviously with Alice Cooper, the makeup is going to be very prominent, so I'll kind of work up to the makeup and then like do the black makeup afterwards, so that it really stands out, because that's like his defining feature for sure. And
Right.
top
Yes,
too,
of
but-
course. Yeah.
So when I do start, I will always start with the edges, because I like to have a gallery wrap type look.
Okay.
So in this case, I'm gonna. Do you want some safety glasses? Or are you okay?
People will know that I hardly ever wear those,
Okay,
so
well, I will.
I will squint. I'm behind my phone here. I got it
Oh yeah,
pretty close to my
you're
face.
safe. You're safe. And then I will.
I appreciate you asking, though.
Trusty nail gun here. I do use the staples when I'm putting on the actual frame on the back. So this is just a thin piece of plywood, and then I use 1x2s around the edge just for support, and then I use rigid foam board, like that pink stuff over there,
Okay.
on the back, just to give it like a lightweight but rigid feel,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
and so that the nails aren't going, all the way through the back, kind of thing. And then
All right.
I use Bissett because they are cheap as well.
Okay.
They're probably gonna like knock me for not using,
No, that's fine.
nails or something like that.
Well, no, I use those all the time.
They're the best and cheapest that I find. So
Okay. Well, there you go. You got to
so-
use what works for you.
yeah, exactly, man. So in this case, I'll just grab some yellows and kind of just work my way around the edges first.
So, how do you know you want yellow?
So it's all about the design, and I can show you that. When I look at this, I'll basically I'll throw it into Photoshop now, and I'll pull out the contrast so that the features are very like prominent, and then from there I'll just kind of like color it in based on what I have in my stock. So I know the darkest colors I have are usually like the reds, blues, and greens, and then from there that sort of dictates what I'll go to next. So in this case, I wanted to use a lot of red because he's kind of like, shock rock, blood, gore, like there's
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff going on with him. So I chose a red motif for him. And then I also talked to the clients about where this piece is going. So actually, real quick, I'll show you the design just so you can kind of see
Sure.
what I'm working off of. Follow me.
I will follow you. So, do you have a table saw, or how are you processing your panels?
I don't have a table saw. No, I'll usually just get them cut at Home Depot to like
Oh,
standard
okay.
sizes, like
Okay.
at 3 feet by 4 feet, or just squares of 4 feet by
Sure.
4 feet. And then I just have like a circular saw that I'll make adjustments if
Oh, okay.
it needs to be
Sure.
a bit smaller or something. So this is the design, and this is what I showed to the client basically. So they have this music room in their house.
Wow,
a
they got
lot of old like
nice couch.
I know, right? That couch is unreal. So they live in Detroit, which is where he was based.
Oh, I actually did not know that.
Yeah, I think he moved there at some point in his life. I don't know if he was born there, but I think he was basically from Detroit as much as he can be.
Okay.
So they sent me photos of their living room or their music room that is going in, and sort of the colors that they have and stuff. So I basically took this black and white photo and like I said, took the contrast out, really like highlighted. I made sure his makeup would really stand out, and then I
Right.
would paint basically from the darkest points of his face would be red, and then I'll use those kind of Alexander Keith's like bronzy look.
Sure. Sure.
Because they have a lot of sepia tone, and I wanted to have that sort of like pop art look, but also have it fit in with like a sepia tone type feel. So it's kind of where pop art meets like classic black and white photographs.
I like your madness and your method there.
Yeah,
That's a good way to do it.
I think
When
so.
people ask me to paint something or make something, I'm like, cool, I will.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Sometimes that's what I get too, and they're just like, do whatever you want. Like I made this Marilyn Monroe piece, and I was like, do you mind if I get a little bit more adventurous? So I had this streak of black and white across her face, and it was like a spotlight.
Oh,
Going
that was a
through.
great piece. I
Thanks.
saw that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
So that one, he was just like, I love Marilyn Monroe. Just make it happen. And I asked him, can I get a bit more creative? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, have at her. So that was what I decided there. But these clients wanted to be a bit more involved. Like, I think she's like a marketing director for Ford or something. Like she works, it's Motor City, right? So they're big into the vehicles there, but she's like into marketing and stuff. So she wanted to be a little bit more involved. So
yeah,
I had a meeting with her and
nothing wrong with that,
and showed her that. And so kind of just like, the main colors of their living room, how they sort of tie in to the piece itself. And so they were pretty stoked with that. And so that's what I used as my design layout. And
fantastic.
That's what I work off of. So
yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I'll show you how I slam them in.
Yet another Beatles poster.
Yeah. This was our like baby storage room that we're turning into the office, so that we can keep the door closed. And then I'm gonna put all of my music stuff in there,
okay,
so that I can eventually like kind of compose background music for videos when I eventually get into more long form YouTube stuff.
Sure.
And then this room is going to be my my collage room, because I think I was telling you about the collage thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we'll touch on that before we finish today.
Sure.
Because I'll show you some of the cool stuff that I have up there.
Sure.
But as far as getting a piece started, I always start around the edges and then I'll fold them over with basically kind of hammer them over. So just like that, and then just kind of keep going around the edge.
And then so you're immediately lapping everything.
Lapping everything. So like I see that orange is coming up next. So I'm going to basically like kind of go from a yellow to an orange so that when it is flat, like fold it over.
And if you could somehow know that this was going to be a piece, would you, if you happen to have an orange and yellow cap, would that be the one you used?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But there's different tones of orange too. So like I might go, like if you can see these kokanees, and then these are like a blank, like almost like a Alexander Keith's cap.
Okay.
That like it's the same kind of color almost, so it's a bronze. So
right.
Like, if I'm blending, I'll go from this orange to this kind of bronze to this sort of dark beige, so that sort of blends in. So that's kind of like my thought process when I am blending in my colors, and basically just kind of going from there. And if I do come across a cap that has multiple colors, it's not very often, but I have used them in spots like that. So I'll just kind of like mix them in, and the pieces are large enough that if I mix this type of light orange with these kind of bronzy caps, then you get a different tone altogether. It's more like a skin tone type color, so I'll just kind of mix some of those in there. And then when I am ready to like hammer them down, I'll do the entire edge, and then I just hammer them down this way.
Okay.
And then once that's all done, like you can kind of see, like, this is the lightest yellow, this is a bit darker, this is a bit darker than that,
right,
and this is a bit darker, and I'll continue that way.
Right.
Because that's like the edge of his arm. And then that's basically the gradient that I'm looking for. So a little sneak peek. And then once the whole edge is done, then I'll start like working my way up. And I'll, just because I hold my needle nose pliers in my left hand and then the nail gun in my right, I'll work my way from the bottom right across and then up that way.
So you don't necessarily do a full shape because you have...
Sometimes I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Like because his knuckles are going like this on his chin, I will likely do the entire spot to like the right of his hand, and then I'll overlap the hand so that's over top of it, because it's like further out, in
sure.
perspective.
And even though it's literally like, what is that, not even a millimeter.
No tops. Yeah.
So like, even though it's enough to show depth.
Yeah, exactly. Like I would just have it like this instead of this,
Right.
because that is on top.
Right. Lots of information in that tiny little.
Yeah. And so there's key parts along the whole face where I'll apply the same kind of method, and that's sort of how I go about it. And then the hair too, I'll do a lot of caps cut in half for the hair, because
Right.
you can just get more detail, and he has very messy hair in this photo,
Sure.
just like Kurt Cobain there. Like you can see I've cut a lot of them in half.
And me.
And you, when I do a mosaic of you, I will have to capture your
Which of
hair.
course you will, because I'll be one of the greats.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as I'm done with Alice, it's Josh after that. So, yeah. But okay? So I brought up the collage thing.
Yeah.
And so this is where my artwork starts to branch off, and I have sort of like you do a lot of things with metalworking and stuff, but then you also have finger painting and your woodworking and stuff. So this is kind of where I branch off as well. So.
And I'm sure people who haven't watched our interviews previous or who don't know you as well as maybe I do. Not that I know you a lot, but
enough by now though.
Yeah, I do. But I imagine people might be asking, hey, you do this. This is very niche. What other types of art do you do? And this is different, but also it's pretty niche, which I think is a lot of fun.
This is what I'm about to start. This is a new, I'm embarking on a new, a totally new venture, but I've become very lucky in that a gentleman who is a collector of all things American history, manuscripts, like copies of the Declaration of Independence, photos of Lincoln, and newspapers from hundreds of years ago. He got a piece for me, and then we got to talking, and he says, I have all of these old materials that are basically kind of like worthless to me, because I'm only dealing with originals of whatever it may be that are worth, tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I have all these things at my disposal that I don't think I'm ever going to actually use, but they are authentic. And if I give you a bunch, can you make art out of them? And I said, yeah, even though I don't know if I can, but I'm going to give it a college try here.
Right.
So, for example, there's these...
Obviously a lot of newspaper.
A lot of newspapers. There are photographs in here. This is, this is legit. Leslie's illustrated newspaper from New York, 1865.
I would love to find this in a house. I love when I find old advertisement, newspaper clippings and stuff. I was working on this one old house, not super old, but 100 years old.
Okay.
And we were taking things apart to change things. This house was deemed a tear down, but we rescued it.
Oh, nice.
So there was extensive repair that we had to do. Anyway, a lot of the insulation was newspaper.
Oh, yeah.
And so I pulled it out, and then I framed some of it some of the damaged casings and baseboards from the house.
Nice.
And then we put it in there for staging.
So when I read the paper, what I like to read is the New York Caucasian.
Oh my God.
What? America, what were you doing back then? I thought New York was supposed to be a little bit more liberal than that. So anyway, this might be a designed for Caucasian people only, but I mean it's 1863, so the social landscape was a little different.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
There's there's these random I don't even know what these are. They're almost like stamps in a way. There's this looks like, I don't know if they I'm not sure.
It's almost
dated 1865, but it looks like just normal lined paper.
It's loose leaf almost.
Yeah, general order.
What the heck?
I don't this one seemed a little off to me, but he could probably explain.
Is it photocopied onto that maybe? But no, it's right on the line.
I know it's right on there, and I don't know if they had this type of paper back in 1865, but if you really look at it, it looks pretty much like it's written in ink, right?
Yeah. Let us know in the comments, guys, if you
John
know.
A. Kennedy. Like, this is Kennedy's probably grandfather, great grandfather. I don't know, or no relation at all. No idea. But I'm gonna have to look into this. So my idea is to basically kind of catalog all of this stuff. You know, there's all stamps and like ripped like pictures and stuff like that, and I think look, there's photos. There's photos here of this. Oh, Grant. That must be Ulysses Grant there and his family. Here's Lincoln and his family. You know, these are all like photos from manuscripts back in the day. This is just a postcard from like I don't know when, but he just kind of threw a whole bunch of stuff.
That's much more modern.
Yeah, obviously. But like a lot of this stuff is dated from the 1860s, and then there's a bunch of
like the newspapers always say, but not everything else does. 1865.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia Inquirer.
Yeah. So my first major project with this is, I think what I'm gonna do is, because there's a lot of Civil War Lincoln related stuff, I'm gonna try and I'm experienced with portrait making. I'm gonna try and do a portrait of Lincoln out of all of these newspapers and photographs and stamps and all this kind of stuff. So I'll do a few like experimental pieces just to get my feet wet and make sure I know kind of what I'm doing a little bit. But,
that would be awesome.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff.
That reminds me of my one friend. She made a jingle dress. She's Cree. Okay. She made a jingle dress out of the Indian Act.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool. That stuff's, I mean, I love that stuff. So, like, to marry history into something modern, like, I think is just super cool. I don't even know what half the stuff is. I need to go through all of it and kind of document it, because he sent a bunch of stuff.
Right, and he was just kind of like, this to him is just his...
basically worthless. And yeah, he's looking for more... like, this is authentic, but authentic, rare, original, just
like important. Like this is just a newspaper.
Yeah.
It's important for people today because it's interesting, but there's no significance to it necessarily.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and there might be significance to individuals, but historically, it's just a newspaper.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So that is going to be my next venture. So I think, as I'm teaching myself how to do all of this stuff and learning the process and figuring out how to do it, that is going to be my like foray into YouTube, like more long form, because I think it's just it'll be an interesting journey for people to follow along.
I think that would be awesome. So do you have a YouTube channel?
Not for this yet. I haven't created. We just like got the contract signed. Like, we needed to come up with something that we can agree on, and so that's all signed and it's all good. And there's a non-compete there, so like I can't use materials from anyone else as far as like ancient artifacts like this go. I guess ancient is probably a strong word, but historical artifacts. So yeah, now it's all about like starting the process and doing that under a different umbrella, kind of, you have several umbrellas, this is my next umbrella.
Yeah. So are you gonna, this is a relationship that's going to continue on for several pieces?
I don't know how long, but yeah, like we have kind of the first idea for a collection, more or less loosely thought of.
Okay.
So, basically, we're going to see how that goes, and he has archives that he's, you can come down and see my archives, and if you have an idea for something else, then I'll know exactly where those, if I wanted to do something about, like, the moon landing, like, he probably has a ton of, newspapers and materials about that, or, like, I'm into music, and I saw in his collection, he has... stuff from Woodstock when they were like creating the schedule for Woodstock, and they're like, no, maybe like Janis Joplin shouldn't go here, she should go there, and it was like the preliminary thing, so like using that type of material.
That would be awesome. That would be great.
The sky's the limit. Like, this guy has like millions of pieces of history like this, spanning from like the 14th or like the 1400s to today, kind of thing. So,
okay. Is it all American, Canadian stuff? American?
Mostly all American, just because he's just like, he's an American history buff kind of guy.
Okay.
Yeah,
so he doesn't have stuff from like the UK.
I don't like he
or maybe he does
here and there, but yeah, watch your head. I literally have to duck when I come into this room because I'm like just an inch taller than the ceiling in that part. So yeah. But yeah, it would mostly be American. I've seen some kind of Canadian stuff in here as well, but mostly mostly American. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. He knows you're Canadian, obviously.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Oh yeah. We chat like probably every 2, 3, 4 weeks kind of thing. Just like kind of coming up with ideas and stuff. So yeah.
I'm excited to see what you make, because that
Me too.
looks very interesting. Are you going to be making a separate social media for that?
I will, yeah.
Yeah?
I think it makes sense to keep that one separate just because it's an entirely different medium.
Right.
I mean, they're similar in a lot of ways, like collage, mosaic, like they sort of overlap, but yeah, I think this one should just have its own social
Sure,
media
yeah.
thing. So I don't know what it is yet, but I will let you know when I come up with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure when this video is going to come out, but maybe by then you'll have something.
Maybe, yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate you showing me everything,
Yeah.
giving me a tour, giving me a demo,
Of course, man. Thanks for coming by.
give me a tour of your house. I wasn't expecting to do the tour of your house, but it's so dope. So I like it when people have like a nice eclectic taste. You know, you have like, you know, what would you call it? It's a cohesive mix,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can thank my wife mostly for that stuff. She's got the eye.
She's got the eye.
I have some influence, but it's mostly her. So.
Sure. Well, hey, if it works, it works.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, anything else? Should we call it, or
I think you should say to be continued.
to be continued?
Perfect. That was awesome. Is there anything else that you do want to show me at all? 'Cause I can-
honestly, man, like
That's probably it, eh?
I think so. Like I feel like that was pretty comprehensive. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, let's just get some B-roll then.
Sure.